Yo, 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 yo. We are back with another episode of the Playoffs of Life, episode 4, with your host, Adrian Hatcher. We are back, y'all, and y'all already know what we do on this podcast. This is the pod where we talk about basketball, lifestyle, and finances in that order. But most of the time, we just go off the top here on this pod. We got plenty of topics here today. The first topic we got is about the NBA season, whether or not, if it ends or not, are we going to have a champion? And if it did end, who would have been the champion this year for the NBA season? The other topic we got is the finale of Ozarks. I told you in the last episode that we will be discussing this. We'll be getting into it, the finale, what to expect in the season 4, because y'all know Netflix is going to bring this back. Like, this show is way too good just to end it the way it ended it. So other than that, we got a really special thing that a friend of mine did. I'm going to shout out her in a little bit once we get to that topic. But I like to call this one the Moving Out Special. She's really contributed a lot of information, some helpful information for anybody that's ready to move out soon. So look forward to that. And then we just going to do a little bit of updates for the pod, just to let you know what I'm up to, different things you'll hear throughout the pod, see if you like it or not, and another special episode coming up. But you got to listen to the rest of the pod if you want to get to that. So for our first topic, let's get straight into it with the NBA season. I'm of the mindset that it is canceled. There's no possible way that they should be bringing this season back if it puts danger on anybody. Like the players, the coaches, the fans, of course, the employees at the arena. I just don't feel like nobody should really have to get out the house based off what the government is saying if they don't have to, because basketball is amazing, but it's not as important as the lifestyle for a lot of people around there. And as much as I know around the world, people want to get back to working and want to get back to a little bit of normalcy. I think I said that right. Normalcy. See, I know I messed that up, but another take. We ain't gonna do another take. People want to get back to a little bit of normal, but it's just not the right time, guys. We just gotta wait. Like, there's no reason to rush anything back. But we can still think about it. We can still dream. Like, we can still get into this. The NBA season, if it was canceled, who would have won a championship this year? And we got a lot of choices because this year was looking fire. There was a lot of teams that I felt was missing key pieces to make a championship run. And then there was also teams that, even though they didn't looked like they were going to be in the run for the championship this year, you could see the elements of a future champion if given enough time and development and less injuries. One of those teams that I'll shout out is the Washington Wizards. Bradley Beal is a borderline superstar. There's no doubt about it. And John Wall has been missing from the end of last season to the whole season of 2020. There is no doubt in my mind that if John Wall was playing with Bradley Beal the way Bradley was carrying this team all season, they would have been at least a 6th or 5th seed, maybe even more. But that's the thing. Injuries always affects the best teams out there. And the best teams always have to overcome stuff like that and prove that they still deserve a playoff spot that leads to a championship. That's just one of the teams. Of course, I will put my Chicago Bulls in there. But we all know, I think we all can come to agreement that any Chicago Bull fan out there knows, with the dysfunction that we had, mainly like the front office, and with the players constantly getting injured, like for most of the season, our starting small forward, our starting power forward, our starting center, our backup centers, we just had injuries hit every month. And they weren't like 1 week, 2 week injuries. These were like injuries keeping players out from like Christmas. I know Otto Porter for a fact missing like at least 3 to 4 months with his injury, which was originally diagnosed as like an injury that would only take 2 to 3 weeks. But of course, that's not what happened. But those are just like two of the teams that I think are really like in the race for winning the championship. Of course, the Atlanta Hawks, hometown Atlanta, they're of course going to be in the mix with the trade they made to get Clint Capella and Trae Young going to be there and John Collins. They got a great young core, and that's really just the East. If you look in the West, I really don't look at the West and say these teams are borderline can be champions, because the West is so tough that a lot of the teams, if you put the West teams in the East, they would be top seeds. Give you an example, a team like the Utah Jazz, for example. I think they could be a top team in the East. Even though the Memphis Grizzlies are going through a rebuild, Ja Morant was carrying that team through a good stretch and proved that he could be their franchise player for the future. I look at that team like, oh yeah, with a few pieces, they definitely could take over the West in a few years. Another team that I was really thinking about that was sorely like underrated was the Brooklyn Nets before Kyrie went down. Even though they was missing KD for a season, if you watched any of the Brooklyn Nets games, man, they were fire. Them boys was busting it. They were throwing down alley-oops to DeAndre Jordan. Kyrie taking over, putting up 50-point games on his return. I'm talking about he was motivated. And I know next season he's gonna be even more motivated. I know he got the major surgery coming up, but I think him and KD may have around the same timetable. I just hope they get a chance to play, because I would love to see that team. Like there is so much hope for next season, guys. Y'all just gotta look forward to it. And then I'm not even naming the top teams, but I will now, just to answer the original topic question. If the NBA season canceled, who do you think would have won a championship? And I'm of the firm mindset that the Lakers would have dominated. I mean, if you watch the whole entire season, I don't think LeBron or AD brought out all they really could bring out throughout the season. They were playing tag team. Like, they were passing the ball. Here, you take over this quarter. I'll take over this quarter. Okay, we both can take over this quarter, to the point where teams just couldn't handle it. Can you imagine dealing with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, the defensive coverages that you have to come up with? And then sometimes you just got to hope they miss, because a lot of the times defense for superstars is putting them in a tougher position or putting them off of their favorite spots on the court. So really, it's not that you can force them to make offensive mistakes. A lot of the times it's just, okay, let's make it hard for them. And that changes the game. But man, with superstars, you just never know. They have so much control over the game. So I really believe that the Los Angeles Lakers would have won a championship this year. If you look at the Milwaukee Bucks in the East with Giannis, I mean, only a handful of teams could really control that boy. Only a handful of teams could really keep that man down, especially with him passing that ball. I mean, he could practically give you up to 30 points. He can give you about 12 assists. He's going to get you at least 7 to 10 rebounds, like basically averaging a triple-double, while his teammates are snipers. They got bad players, man. And Giannis ain't bullshitting. But so those are my two teams that I think, if coming out the East and West, they definitely could have won a championship this season. It's not as bad as a lot of people are looking to it, because with the whole season closed, we ain't had much to do or much to watch on TV other than hardware classes, which I think is another great reason why the season may potentially have gotten canceled. A lot of people not having much to do are seeing the old heads, are seeing the great players that inspired the players that we watch today. I've been watching a lot of hardware classes, watching the Celtics and the Lakers battle back in the 2009-2010 playoffs. Seeing teams like the Houston Rockets back when Kenny Smith was playing, Hakeem Olajuwon, seeing Steve Nash back in the Phoenix Suns days. That was a treat. That was amazing. If you got a chance, guys, go and watch NBA TV or ESPN. Oh, ESPN got The Last Dance that came out a couple of days ago. Sadly, I haven't been able to watch any episode of The Last Dance, but I definitely, if I get a chance, I'll look it up online and I'll get into it, man. If y'all want something, and if y'all want any information on The Last Dance, y'all want me to talk about it, drop a voice message, just email me, on my public page, Playoffs of Life on anchor.com, and let me know how you feel about that. Let me know if you want me to talk about what each episode brings and what I think about it, because The Last Dance, people are so hyped for that. Players and fans together were preaching for it to come out earlier, and they actually moved up the date for it to come out earlier. So watch out for that, guys, if you want to see it. But yeah, I think I answered the original question. The Lakers and Bucks would have been my teams, and then I would have went with the Lakers in 7 potentially. Man, I just don't really see anybody stopping AD and LeBron for 7 games. Maybe one or two, maybe even 3, but for 7 games, I really did believe in their coach. I mean, making adjustments is key in the playoffs, and LeBron James being a coach on the floor, it just don't seem fair at times, you know. But that's where we was at before the season concluded. So going to the next topic, guys, y'all already know what it is. I told y'all last pod what we was gonna do. It's the finale of Ozarks, the season 3 finale. Just to give y'all heads up, spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear what I'm about to say, I'm going to be putting timestamps in all of my future episodes, including this episode, just so you can skip topics that you see you like or don't like, or if you don't have the amount of time that you think you got, and you got to be busy, you got to do chores or something, or you got to go make some love, or whatever you got to do, guys. Go do your thing and then come back to the pod. But I put timestamps to let you know where each topic is going to be. So follow the timestamps in the public page, Playoffs of Life on anchor.com, and skip to the next topic. But for those that are staying, this finale. Okay, so first of all, just give us a little background information. The way season 2 ended was absolutely amazing. We have the Bird family firmly encapped. Yes, I said that right. No double takes anyway. We have the Bird family firmly intact into the drug cartel business. Of course, season 1, we're looking at the Bird family like, okay, they're banding together. The whole family knows, Charlotte and Jonah, their kids, Wendy, Marty Bird, they have decided to become a fully fledged family that works for the drug cartel, instead of it being Marty having to deal with this and him and Wendy having to deal with this for the rest of the show. So they band together at the end of season 1. And then season 2 is really finding the new dynamic, having to deal with so many more headaches, because you got to deal with the Ozark psychopath, which is, man, this chick this season. The Ozark psychopath killed her husband. If y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the lady with the poppy seeds up in the mountain that just wants to kill everybody that ain't a local, that ain't an Ozark in her name, ain't got no Ozark blood in them. Like this season, she was crazy, ended up killing her husband, which blew my fucking mind, because the whole episode was like pointing to him killing her, but in the end, I didn't think he was gonna kill her. Or I didn't know. Really, what I thought was he was going to attempt to kill her and realize he couldn't. And then her being the psychopath she is, she ain't gonna take no chances, and she gonna put a bullet in him. But when he took her out to the woods, and they building up and doing all these flashbacks and everything, I mean, you could almost tell that he loved her too much, which is crazy, the dynamic that they put there, because every episode we saw with the Ozark psychopaths, with the husband and wife, they've been the villains. We don't really understand why they care so much about their side drug business, and how it was built, and the time and energy, and even the love that they have, because you would, in your head, you just like, how can a man love this woman who is so strong-headed and so determined to get her way? because they believe in this like Snell tradition or this type of respect that they deserve for what they built. And with how everything went down, and during the episode where the Ozark psychopath does kill her husband, they do the flashbacks of how they met, how their love got developed. And I thought that was really amazing seeing that dynamic. But she don't shoot him down. She gives him a merciful death. She poisons his coffee. And man, that's all we saw of Jacob Snell. One Ozark psychopath down due to another Ozark psychopath. Maybe that's the only way they can kill themselves off. They have to be able to kill themselves off for us to move on from them. But they are great characters, man. I love them. Seeing that dynamic was awesome. Let's talk about Charlotte and Jonah's arc this season. Leading up to season 1, where the family banded together. In season 2, Charlotte was not my favorite character. Charlotte was all about, oh my God, I don't want to be part of this family. I'm gonna take legal means. What you mean you gonna take legal means to get out of a family that is owned by a drug cartel? Like it's like in her brain, it didn't process that if this potentially got out, why would the drug cartel allow you to just leave? Like that makes no sense. But she spent like a good chunk of season 2 just directly opposing her family and putting them at risk. And I understand. I truly do. I've never been put in that situation. Hope to God I never put my family, or my family never puts me in that situation. But your mom and dad are working for a drug cartel. You're not even supposed to notice. Somehow the cartel believes that you ain't even supposed to let your kids in on this. You're supposed to be so secrecy that not only the government, not only the cops, not only your neighbors, not only like your closest family, because we gonna get into one of these brother, but nobody can know about your business while you are doing business, laundering money. But that's the way it went down. Charlotte through season 2 was not my favorite. Of course, the person playing that character did an amazing job playing the annoying and just frustrating character. And leading up to the end of season 2, she actually, I warmed up to her. She gave a good honest reason why being part of this family was eventually gonna get her killed or get the whole family killed. She just didn't believe that there was any real way out without consequences, and thankfully it didn't happen. She didn't take the legal way out of getting out of the family, and they kind of like closed that dynamic. And leading into season 3, she wasn't featured as much. She was mainly like a secret keeper. Like she actually played the Wendy role, her mother, by keeping the secret from the lawyer of the cartel, which the lawyer's name is Helen. I'm pretty sure y'all knew that, but we're gonna get into Helen too. But keeping Helen's daughter from knowing what's going on was kind of like her role this season, and even protecting Helen's daughter from the FBI. Yo, I kind of saw it coming, but that just shows how they put how even the smallest things are important, because the FBI was using one of these teenage boys that basically is the cool guy in the Ozarks. I show you Ozark level of cool, but he was basically working for the FBI agent and trying to get and find out and find like incriminating stuff in the Ozark house. And the way he was doing it was that the lawyer's daughter was into him, and she trying to not to be a virgin the rest of her life. So she doing everything this guy wants. She really likes him. She lets him in and lets him into the Ozark house and basically almost incriminates everybody. Like he's just trying to find out whatever he can find out for this FBI guy who's just paying him off. Which, I mean, that the FBI this year, there's a double-sided coin with the FBI. We'll even talk about it. They just a little evil, but they a little good. And I think I know what I mean by that, but we'll get into that. So I love Charlotte's season. This season, she really stepped up. She really protected the family the best she could with what she was given, the information she was given. And Jonah, oh man, so it's hard not to like Jonah's character because he's the youngest, but he's able to process so much to the point where he's contributed, I believe, more than Charlotte. Like he's literally embedded himself into becoming a criminal for his family. That's like his moral high point. Like I'm doing this because I do like it, but I also want my family to be okay. I want to help them. And that's one of the things that gave me them Breaking Bad vibes. But Jonah made the decision this season to do whatever he can to help. I'm talking about duplicating bank accounts, being able to launder his own money. He got a drone this season. He was being a average boy with the drone this season. But oh my God, even the drone came in handy because he was smart about it. And that's why I say Jonah, like he did so much this season. He contributed to them actually like staying alive. He was the main reason they were able to stay alive this season because, okay, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But Jonah's character is amazing. I love his character. And leading up to the finale, there's this rumor going around that at the end, when Jonah shoots the shotgun through the window, he's actually shooting at somebody. I'm of the idea that he was letting out his frustration because he found out that his mom, Wendy, allowed the hit to go on her brother. So basically, allowing the drug cartel to kill off her brother to protect the family. You know, him finding that revelation out from Helen, the source of his anger. You know, and you can tell he believes it because he doesn't kill her when he walks into her house and basically points a shotgun at her. With kids in the house, he's like, "I'll still blow your brains out if I don't like what you're telling me." You know, and she told him the truth even though she did it in her own twisted way to get out of it, which I knew you couldn't trust that bitch, but that shit. Yeah, yeah. We see what happened. Yeah, bitches can't be trusted. But so so yeah, man, Jonah this season he was really conflicted too because there was a lot of death too, man. Like the caretaker, the guy that was letting them live in the house, he died. That was sad. That really affected Jonah. And then Wendy's brother dying. I mean, he's just at that point where he's like, if we can't protect our family from this, then what is this even for? You know, that's the dynamic he faces because at this point, I don't know how he can even trust his parents in season 4 after finding out what happened. You know, maybe they'll address that in the first episode, but we'll find out. You know, let's get into Ruth. Another one of my favorite characters. Ruth has had a great build up in her character. She was seen as just this teenage criminal from the very beginning, and in every season, she's proved her loyalty to the point where I felt bad when she decided to leave the birds, basically join up. Well, at first she wasn't even trying to join up. She just wanted out. She said, "Fuck this. I'm done. Y'all are taking this way too far." She was kind of that Jonah mentality. If we can't even protect the people that we are closest to, then what is the point of making this money and doing this for the cartel? You know, this season she dealt with a lot of hostility from other characters, such as the son of the KC mob boss. You know, dealing with him was just stupid. This man just he let his pride get to him, and we see where that led him eventually. And Ruth, she fell for Wendy's brother, which he had a lot of important elements this season. He contributed to a lot of the shit that goes down this season. Oof, man. Man, Wendy's brother, boy. I'm just gonna refer to him to Wendy's brother. I can't even get this man a name. It was R.I.P. Wendy brother. Um, but Ruth, she had a great dynamic this season. Going, she ended up going into like a higher authority. She ended up getting more power this season. She was basically running the Birds operation since they have to keep on the down low with the FBI. You know, she keeping the casino running that they opened to help launder the money with the FBI like always there. You know, falling for Wendy's brother was not part of the plan, but I mean, he had He had a charming attitude about him, and once she fell for him, I knew that was going to be a big mistake. But she needed him. She needed him because a lot of these characters keep in this pain and this hurt because they tell themselves it's all for the business, it's all for something. And they really show the dynamic of they're just human beings because she was really hurt, man. Like when her father died at the end of season 2, as much as we, the audience, think he's a scumbag and can't think, how could you love a father like that treats you like that and would do anything for this money? But that was her father at the end of the day. And for a whole season, she's holding that in. Like I know he was dirt, but he was my dirt. He was my father. And I want to believe that he died because he just deserved it. But no, y'all took it upon yourselves to make that decision and kill him. And then just let me still work for you. Like the birds, I mean, they be messing up. They really trust the people they're around too, because they basically killed her father, which ruined the relationship with her brother. They basically put her in a position where she ended up killing her uncles, which basically messed up the relationship with her cousin. And then now all she has is the job. The job was the criminal organization was all she had until she got with Wendy's brother. And then you kill off Wendy's brother. And then it's like, what do you expect her to do? Like her family is every season is getting killed off. The people she loves is getting killed off, and there's nothing. There's no repercussions. There's no get back. There's really not that much. She wasn't even seeing sorrow, as much sorrow as she expected, which makes her think more of the Bird family. Like how cold hearted you have to be, Wendy and Marty, to do this. And I don't think they're cold hearted because we've actually had episodes this season where we see how they're dealing with the stress and their emotional frailty. I'm gonna stop using big words in this podcast. No take, no double take. Their emotional state in this dynamic. We saw them kill a person. We saw them hide the body. Like legit, they killed a person. They took it upon themselves, and of course, it wasn't. It was self defense, but yeah, when you working with a drug cartel, you can't claim self defense anymore. Um, I forgot about the baby dynamic. Okay, but yeah, we see how they get hit by these emotions. They get hit just as hard, but they have to keep going to keep this cartel happy. Um, this season, Wendy's brother was so important, which I didn't see how his character was going to play such an important role, but he did. He got in a relationship with Ruth. He built a relationship with Jonah. He found out so much in about 2 to 3 episodes. He became a focal point. Like he was so important, because he had so much information that they couldn't just let him go and let the FBI get to him. They couldn't let the cartel. It's kind of like with Charlotte last season when she was trying to legally get away from the family. You can't just leave her or Wendy's brother to just roam free in the world and just hope and pray they don't say anything. Um, and when he found out all this stuff, and with him being bipolar, that was just a horrible combination. He just could not handle it. Dealing with your own life and dealing with the repercussions of a drug business and having to keep everything on wraps 24/7. He wasn't made for it. And Wendy knew that. And that's why we'll go straight into Wendy's character. I love Wendy's character this season. Season 1, I hated her. I hated her. Oh my god, I wanted her to die, but she can't because she's so important. Season 2, she showed what she's worth. She showed how much of an influence she has in this business. She got power. She knocking off the dust off her shoulders. She a badass in season 2. She shows up. And with the reason and with the way season 2 ended, Wendy was a problem because she was the one who put the hit out on Ruth's father. She was like, all right, went to the diner, gave him the money. I need you to leave. I don't need nothing else for you to say. get out of here, don't come back, and then set the man up so he gets shot on the road. Like that's a career hit. Like she doing some real sneaky shit, but she did it. She said she did it for her family, but we all know Wendy did it because she loved the power, and that showed even more in season 3. Because what does Wendy do? She does everything, and she starts doing stuff behind Marty's back. Now, pray tell, Marty started doing stuff